Now that the era of the Mamba is officially over, we want to know which NBA superstar will be the next Kobe. Max, who's the heir apparent to Mr. Bryant?
Well, I mean, look, Russell Westbrook, Kobe Bryant is Russell Westbrook's spirit animal. I mean, Russell Westbrook, the mentality that Stephen A. described off the top just now, the killer mentality, all those things, the killer instinct, the competitiveness is embodied by Russell Westbrook. He is, as I've said, if LeBron James is the love child of Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, then what Russell Westbrook is, Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant had a baby, and it was Russell Westbrook. He is the closest thing to Kobe in terms of the most important stuff, which is the stuff that Stephen A. just mentioned, of anyone in the NBA. I know he's shorter, he's not the same size, he's really a point guard, obviously primary ball handler. He's not as great as Kobe. I understand all those things, but he's the closest thing to the spirit of Kobe Bryant that the NBA has right now. The answer is Russell Westbrook.
Well, you can give me that answer, and I won't argue with you in terms of spirit, but I will argue with you in terms of game. The name would be James Harden, who, by the way, in 6 seasons in Houston, since he departed from Oklahoma City as a reserve, once he arrived in Houston and he's been the star, James Harden is averaging 27 a game, or better than 44% shooting. He shoots better from the three than Kobe Bryant does. He shoots better from the free throw line than Kobe Bryant does. And by the way, the playoffs, even though we've lamented some no-shows on his part, he averages 27 in the playoffs as well, albeit on 41% shooting instead of 44%. What I would say to you is that James Harden, when you look at him, as a shooting guard who obviously can play point as well. He can get to the basket at will. He converts better from the free throw line. He shoots better from three-point range. He's got an assassin's mentality. He's every bit as explosive offensively as Kobe has been. And, he's playing the same position. Russell Westbrook has the ball in his hands, doesn't necessarily have to play without the ball in any stretch. James Harden didn't have to play without the ball, Max, last year because he was the point guard, but every year prior to that, he was playing without the ball. This year, at times, he plays without the ball because he's off the ball and Chris Paul is on the ball, even though they vacillate back and forth between those responsibilities. But when I look at James Harden and what he brings to the table as an offensive force, I view him as the heir apparent to Kobe more so than anybody else, although I will agree with you that the spirit of Russell Westbrook definitely mirrors Kobe on the outside more so than anybody else. But the actual game and what they bring to the table, I think that is James Harden.
I don't see it. I don't see the James Harden. Listen, they both nominally play the one because Kobe also could be the primary ball handler, and obviously frequently Harden's been the primary ball handler throughout his career. But I don't see it, Stephen A., because Kobe Bryant not only has all the skills. Now, look, he didn't shoot the three particularly well because in that era, players like Kobe didn't need to shoot the three particularly well. I guarantee you this, if Kobe was coming up today, he'd shoot 40% from three, because he would work on it nonstop until he got it just right. He would be, whether or not he's a pure shooter, he would turn himself in to an excellent three-point shooter if he were coming up today. So different eras, different skill sets, I get all that. The point is, Kobe had a totally well-rounded, almost perfected offensive game the way Carmelo Anthony does. But unlike Carmelo and unlike James Harden, Kobe Bryant also had all the fast, twitchy, athletic stuff that the elite athletes have. Like I mentioned Russell Westbrook or someone like that. They're extra fast. They're just more athletic. The leapers, who can get way above the rim. Kobe had all the super athlete stuff combined with all the incredible skill stuff, which is very rare because usually you run into the curse of the gifted. If you're as gifted as Kobe, there's no reason to perfect your craft the way Kobe did, the way Jordan did. But Kobe did, and I just don't see Harden as that level athlete. So that's what. So not only does he not quite have the same mentality, Harden's a great player, by the way. I want to talk about him later in the show. But he also doesn't have the athletic ability of Kobe. For that reason, I see Russell Westbrook as the guy.
Well, first of all, let me tell you something right now. I think you need to watch more of James Harden because I certainly won't accuse him of being an above-the-rim kind of player the way Russell Westbrook and Kobe Bryant can be. But in terms of speed and quickness, you need to watch more James Harden because I'm here to tell you something right now. He was on Kobe's level in that regard. Russell Westbrook is on another level. And Kobe was, in the open court, Kobe was never that fast. Never. Not like Russell Westbrook. And the athleticism that Russell Westbrook has.
No, of course not.
He's the
like
most
Westbrook.
athletic point guard. He's the most athletic point guard in the history of the NBA. What I'm saying is Kobe's speed and quickness, James Harden's speed and quickness is on par with that. Neither of them are on par with Russell Westbrook. Now, James Harden couldn't play above the rim like Kobe, but that was about it. The ability to get into the hole, to get to the free throw line, to draw fouls, to create contact, to score off that contact, etc., etc. Both are more efficient than Russell Westbrook as perimeter players. Russell Westbrook gets to the basket, finishes better than most and what have you. We understand all of that. But I really do believe that folks need to watch James Harden a little bit more. He's a lefty.
I'm not,
you understand,
listen,
southpaw, as you would say. So it's a bit, and because of that, that throws you off. But it's similar to Kobe's.
But the difference is Harden, he's athletic, obviously, and he was a high draft pick partly as a result of that. But Harden Euro steps. He has incredible body control, goes from fast to slow, can stop on a dime, all those things. But Stephen A., just the eyeball test. When I say that fast, twitchy thing, we know what we're talking about in every sport. If I brought up boxing and said Lomachenko, you're like, yeah, fast, twitchy. I get that. That's what I saw from Kobe that I don't see quite, and it's reflected in the above-the-rim play from Harden. I don't think Harden is the athlete that way that Kobe is, and that's why, and also doesn't have the mentality. They play more or less the same position. I get that. And Harden's the best at it. I get that too, as was Kobe. I just don't see him as the inheritor of whatever Kobe had.